Everyone's blaming the tactics. They're blaming the fixtures. They're blaming Mikel Arteta's post-match face, but none of that is the real story. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why Arsenal losing today isn't just a bad result. It's a pattern so predictable it should have its own Wikipedia page. And if they don't fix this, 22 years becomes 23. April 19th, 2026. The Etihad Stadium. Arsenal walked in with a 6-point lead. They walked out losing 2-1, and somehow nobody is surprised. Let's go back a few weeks, because context is everything. Back in mid-March, Arsenal were absolutely flying. 9 points clear at the top, 22 games unbeaten in the league. Arteta was giving press conferences with the energy of a man who had already ordered the trophy cabinet expansion. The fans were booking buses for the title parade. It was glorious. It was beautiful. It was Arsenal. Then came the Carabao Cup final, March 22nd, Wembley, 90,000 people. Arsenal versus Manchester City. City were supposedly the underdogs, knocked out of Champions League by Real Madrid, inconsistent in the league. But Arsenal played like a team who had already lost before a ball was kicked. Nico O'Reilly, a 21-year-old, scored twice in 4 minutes. City win 2-0. Guardiola sprinting down the touchline. Arteta standing there like a man who just found out his car's been clamped. Fine. No league points lost. Arsenal still 9 points clear. Move on. Then April 11th, last weekend at home, the Emirates. Arsenal versus Bournemouth. Not City, not Liverpool. Bournemouth. Junior Krupi gives the visitors the lead. Gyökeres equalises from the spot. Then Alex Scott, a Bournemouth midfielder, scores in the 74th minute, 2-1. Arsenal lose at home to Bournemouth. In a title race, their lead is suddenly 6 points, with City having 2 games in hand. Absolutely sensational. Now, here's what makes this genuinely historically funny. Cast your mind back to 2022 to 23. Arsenal led the Premier League by 8 points in early April, 8 points. They drew with Liverpool, West Ham, Southampton in consecutive weeks. Then the Etihad, City 4-1 Arsenal, season done. City won the title by 5 points. Arsenal had the lead, Arsenal had the form, Arsenal had everything. And then April arrived, like it always does, and Arsenal remembered who they are. There is an actual documented statistical fact about this. Under Mikel Arteta, April is the only month of the entire season where Arsenal's win rate drops below 50%. Every other month, top team. But April arrives and something breaks. Meanwhile, City, under Guardiola, have won 29 of their 32 April Premier League matches since 2016. They don't just perform in April, they emerge from winter specifically to ruin Arsenal's life. It is almost impressive. So, today, April 19th, the Etihad, 6 points is the gap. Arsenal need at least a draw. The tension before kick-off is suffocating. You can see it on the Arsenal players warming up. You can see it in the way Arteta is pacing before the game even starts. Guardiola, meanwhile, is standing there with the serene calm of a man who has done this before, because he has. He has done this to Arsenal specifically more times than anyone should reasonably be allowed. 16 minutes, that's all it takes. Ryan Cherki, 22 years old, 34 million from Lyon. On the edge of the Arsenal box, he dances past 3 challenges, shifts the ball onto his right foot and slots it in off the far post. The Etihad erupts. Cherki wheels away with his arms out, as if he's done this 100 times. For him, in this form, it feels like he has. City 1-0 Arsenal. Arsenal fans everywhere reach simultaneously for their anxiety medication. But then, 18 minutes, something completely unhinged happens. Nunes plays a routine throw-in back to Gianluigi Donnarumma. Donnarumma takes too long. Kai Havertz is pressing. The clearance smashes into Havertz's foot and loops up and falls in off the far corner. 1-1. Donnarumma stands there like a man who has just phoned in a bomb threat to his own house. Guardiola looks absolutely stunned. The Arsenal bench is cackling. They cannot believe their luck. Neither can anyone else watching. Half-time. 1-1. And here is where Arsenal fans allow themselves to feel something approaching optimism. A draw at the Etihad keeps the gap at 6. Manageable. Arteta goes into the dressing room. You can almost script what he says. No fear. Pure fire. Those are literally the words he used in his press conference this week. A lovely phrase, very motivating. Didn't work at Wembley in March, didn't work against Bournemouth last weekend. But, you know, third time's the charm. 65th minute. Erling Haaland, of course it's Erling Haaland. The man scores against Arsenal the way most people breathe, effortlessly, regularly, with the expression of someone who just remembered they left the oven on. He finds space, takes one touch and rifles it home. City 2-1. The Etihad is deafening, and at this moment, Mikel Arteta's face is doing something that cannot be described in polite language. The kind of face you pull when your sat-nav announces a 14-mile tailback. Arsenal push for an equaliser. Gyökeres tries, Trossard tries. Arteta makes substitutions with the energy of a man desperately rearranging deck chairs on a sinking ship. City hold on. Final whistle. Man City 2, Arsenal 1. The maths now. City are 3 points behind Arsenal with a game in hand, win that game in hand, and they go level on points, goal difference, everything. A potential playoff over a title. Arsenal were 9 points clear of 4 weeks ago. 9 points. Arsenal's last Premier League title, 2003-04, the Invincibles. Thierry Henry, Patrick Vieira, Arsene Wenger, 22 years ago. They have come so close so many times, 2022, 23, 23, 24. Each time, same story. Lead the league, play brilliantly for 8 months, arrive in April, completely fall apart. It is as reliable as the seasons themselves. Spring comes, the birds sing, the flowers bloom, and Arsenal choke. It is the natural order of things in English football. The beautiful irony here, Mikel Arteta was actually part of the Arsenal squad that watched this happen for years as a player. He was Arsenal captain. He saw the hope. He saw the collapses. He became the manager. And now he's the one presiding over it. He knows exactly what's happening. He's lived it from both sides of the dugout. Before today's game, he literally said he wanted his players to have no fear, pure fire, which is a great phrase. But saying it 3 times in 5 weeks starts to feel less like motivation and more like a man bargaining with the universe. Meanwhile, Pep Guardiola, a man who has won the Premier League 6 times with City alone. 6, he has won titles in Spain and Germany, 3 Champions Leagues. He has seen every form of pressure football can produce, and he absorbs it like a black hole absorbs light. Guardiola in April is basically Thanos getting the final Infinity Stone. City don't just get good in April, they become something else entirely, and Arsenal walk straight into it every single time. So where does this leave Arsenal? Still first, just 3 points ahead. City have a game in hand. Arsenal's last 5 results include a cup final loss, a home defeat to Bournemouth, and now this. And the funniest part, the fans who were planning the title parade 3 weeks ago are now refreshing the fixture list, looking for any reason to be hopeful. It is not hopeless, but it is very, very Arsenal. The most Arsenal situation Arsenal have ever Arsenal. And look, I'm not here to bury them. Arsenal have had an extraordinary season. Victor Gyökeres has been sensational. Declan Rice has been immense. William Saliba is arguably the best defender in the world right now. They're in the Champions League semi-finals. This is a genuinely special team. But sport has a cruel, merciless sense of humour. And Arsenal are the punchline it keeps returning to. The question isn't whether they can do it, it's whether they can do it in April. Under pressure, the evidence says no. The real gut punch in all this, Arsenal fans have waited 22 years. They've watched rivals win everything. They've watched their team come agonisingly close. Today, with everything on the line at the Etihad in the most important Premier League match in years, they lost 2-1. Cherki scoring a worldie, Haaland being Haaland, and their own goalkeeper gifting City the momentum shift with a howler that will live on the internet for a decade. It is exquisite suffering. Shakespearean, almost, if Shakespeare had watched the Premier League and occasionally questioned his own sanity. But here's the thing, the season isn't over. Arsenal are still top. And maybe, just maybe, this time is different. Maybe Arteta has learnt. Maybe this squad has the character previous ones didn't. Maybe 22 years finally becomes 0. Or maybe it's 2023 again. Maybe City win their game in hand. Maybe April does what April always does. And we do this exact same video next year with one number changed. I'll leave that with you. If you're an Arsenal fan, good luck. You're going to need it. You always do.